What is up, YouTube? I am back from the dead uploading. I'll be uploading more consistent, but today we have a deck profile, and this deck will be Mew VMAX. I think this is the best deck this format, so I'm starting off with it so I can test with some more skillful decks. I don't think this is unskillful, I just think it's very easy to play, so I'm going to share my list with you. So the first card we're going to start off with is Mew VMAX, the main boy, the main man himself. We have the Cross Fusion Strike attack. Choose one of your bench Fusion Strike Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. And then we have Max Miracle, which is just 130 with a Shred attack, which is very decent. Don't know why they gave it so much attacks. So we're just playing 3. You honestly only ever set up 2 of them. You never ever set up 3. You're just playing the extra third one in case you prize one anytime during your game. Usually that won't happen. Sometimes it does, but it is what it is. Next up, we have Mew V. We have 3 Mew VMAX. Now we're playing Mew V because we need to evolve it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We were playing a full 4 copies of this card because we want to maximize our chances of starting it. It has free retreat, making it our best starting Pokemon we can. It has Energy Mix, Psychic Leap. Sometimes you do use Psychic Leap in your game just to heal your Mew VMAX because you don't actually have any healing options. And I don't think there's any space in this deck for healing options. But you're so fast, you don't really ever need a heal. Now for the card that really makes this whole deck so broken, we have Genesect V with the ability Fusion Strike System. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have as many cards in your hand as Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. So if you have 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, you can draw up to 6 cards. And it doesn't say once per turn, so you can use all 4. If you have 4 Genesect Vs, you can use the ability 4 times. I think that is absolutely disgustingly broken. I've had some games where I've drawn 30 cards in 1 turn. Absolutely wild. And then we have one more Pokemon we do play, which is the Meloetta with the Meloetis Echo. Really, really good card. Helps us cheese turn 1 knockouts on 2 prizers, 1 prizers, and honestly a strong attacker since we can leave this in the active after taking a knockout, meaning our opponent needs to set up another attacker and gust, and there's not a lot of decks that can do both at the same time. Now we are moving on to trainers, and we're going to start off with stadiums. We play 1 copy of Rose Tower. Once during each player's turn, that player may draw cards until they have 3 in their hand. If you have a 0-card hand, this is basically like a mini Genesect, which I find is very decent. And then we are playing 2 copies of Training Court. Since we only do play 2 basic Psychic Energies, this allows us to reuse it, and it also allows us to bump counter stadiums that we don't want, mainly being Path to the Peak, because that turns off our Genesect V's ability. Next up, we have supporters. So we are playing Boss's Orders. You basically get to choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and bring it to the active. Very good. We don't use it that often because of how fast games are. So we are only playing 2 copies. So you rarely ever need to switch it, but when you do, you draw so many cards you can find it. And if you need a boss more than 2 times in one game, your Mew VMAX deck just sucks because your games should be over within 3 turns. We also have Essla's Sparkle. This accelerates 2 Fusion Strike energies from our deck to our Fusion Strike Pokemon. You want this on your first turn, so you can attach 1 to Meloetta, 1 to Mew, and then attach a second one from hand to Meloetta to take a huge knockout. Next up, we have items. Item cards do make the bulk of the deck. We play so many, and most of them are in 4s. So first up, we have a new addition to this deck. This is a reprint of an old card, and this is Ultra Ball. Discard 2 cards from your hand, search your deck for any Pokemon. It helps us thin our hand, so we can draw more off a Genesect. It searches out any Pokemon, which is good. In the beginning stages of the game, you can search out any Pokemon. And again, discard synergy is great with Genesect. Going off that discard synergy, we have Quick Ball. Discard one card from your hand, search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it into your hand. We are also playing 4 copies of this card. Helps thin our hand. We can get any basic Pokemon, which is a majority of the Pokemon we play. And we always want to see this card early turns or late turns to discard cards from our hand. Next up, we have Fog Crystal. Search your deck for a Psychic Energy card or a basic Psychic Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Since we only play 2 basic Psychic Energies, this helps us search it out. It also helps us search out Mew V and Meloetta V in the opening turns. A great card. It's burnable, so you can always just thin your hand of 1 card because you can fail it. So we are playing 4 copies of this as well. Next up, we have Battle VIP Pass. You can only play this during your first turn. Whether you go first or second, it doesn't matter, but it has to be on the first turn of the game for you. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. In most decks, this card would be pretty bad because outside of the first turn, it's a dead card. But for Mew VMAX, we want to see our bench full turn 1. So we are playing a full 4 copies of this card. It has great synergy with our next card, which is Cramoratic. Is a great card in this deck. You can only play this card if you discard another item card from your hand. Has to be an item, which is great after the first turn because you can discard your Battle VIP Pass. Flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for a card, put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Any card. Pokemon, Trainer, Energy, doesn't matter. You can search it out. I think this card is great. It's phenomenal in this deck. So we are playing 1, 2, 3, and 4. A full 4 copies. No reason not to. Phenomenal card in this deck. Next up, we are playing Power Tablet. During your turn, your Fusion Strike Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to the active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. Basically, you play a copy of this. It is plus 30 on your attacks. It helps out with math. It helps out buffing up your attacks. Really great card. No reason not to play any less than 4 copies of it. So that is what we are playing. We are playing a full 4 copies. Great card. Wish I could play more, honestly. Next up, we have a card that a lot of people have taken out of their Mew VMAX list, but I think you are crazy if you're doing that. It is Rotom Phone. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose one of them, shuffle the other cards back into your deck, and put that card you chose on top of your deck. Really helps when you're drawing a billion cards with Genesect V. You basically get to stack your deck. And I am playing a full 4 copies. Because it's also, if you don't want to use it, you can just discard it with Cramomatic or Ultra Ball or Quick Ball. The second to last item in this list is Switch. Switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench. Pretty standard card in most decks. Since Mew V does have free retreat and we want to attack with it, we only play this card in case a Meloetta or a Genesect is stuck in the active and we need to switch it out. Only reason. And since we draw a billion cards, we're only going to play 2 copies because it's pretty easy to find. Especially with Cramomatic, you can just search it out if you flip heads. The last card that we have in the item trainer selection is Choice Belt. This does 30 more damage to your opponent's active V Pokemon. Basically just buffs up our damage even more, which in a line with Power Tablet can reach some incredible, insane numbers. Since we do draw lots of cards and it's very situational, we only do play the 2 copies. I don't think I would ever go beyond 2 copies. I'd probably go down to 1 if I needed the space for anything. Next up, we have Fusion Strike Energy. One of the 3 energies we do play, and this is what gets accelerated with SLS Sparkle. The effect on this means our opponent's Pokemon's abilities don't affect the Pokemon this card is attached to. So your opponent's Inteleon Sniper can't damage it. Galarian Zigzagoon can't damage it. If this is attached to a Genesect, it can still use its ability under Galarian Weezing. And also your opponent's Umbreon VMAX can't gust it up with this card, which is super broken. So we are going to be playing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Full 4 copies. No reason to play any less. If I could, I would play more. Then we also have Psychic Energy, just the basic Psychic Energy, and we are only playing 2 copies. You can search it out with Fog Crystal, you can get it back with Training Court. I don't feel like you need more than 2. If you are spooked out with a Duraludon VMAX matchup, you could play more, but I think 2 is the perfect amount. And rounding off the list, we have Double Turbo Energy. This energy provides 2 colorless energy, but the Pokemon this card is attached to attacks do 20 less damage. Basically, we can power up a Mew VMAX in 1 turn with this card. The minus 20 is an inconvenience, but when you have Power Tablet and Choice Belt to negate that negative 30, it really doesn't matter in the end. And that does it for this deck profile. What did you think? Do you like the list? Do you not like the list? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you next week with another deck profile.